Today's scripture reading directs us appropriately to new things, to the new year, to a new semester, and to a new and profound awareness. I mean to speak about such moments of awareness this morning. We've grown up with the enchanting story of the three wise men, the Magi, royalty types from neighboring kingdoms, visiting Bethlehem on the days after the birth of Jesus. Why'd they come? Because they heard this might be important. Something might have occurred that warranted their notice. Call it a hunch. They weren't sure, but their attention was captured. They were drawn to the sight out of some combination of curiosity and a sense of history in the making. Which directs us first to a critical component of that night, some 2,000 years ago. Different cultures identify the dates slightly differently, and the variety of names designate the night of that visitation to the stable where the baby Jesus slept in a manger. In Ireland and elsewhere, the occasion is referred to as Little Christmas. Elsewhere in the West, it's called Twelfth Night, as it falls 12 days after the birth. I enjoy the term of our tradition, the Epiphany. That moniker directs us to its status as a profound moment in history, a single moment when minds and lives were changed forever. First, for those present at the birth. Next, for the travelers from the East come to see what the big deal was. And subsequently, for all of us in the Christian community. So to our language lesson for the day. What's an epiphany? In common parlance, the word means a moment of insight, a somewhat unexpected understanding of something important, something of consequence that is captured in a seemingly mundane moment. It's an awareness of something that you can't quite account for. You know it's true, but you can't quite see your pathway to knowing it. It just came to you in an instant. For the three wise men, it took the form of realizing, as soon as they encountered the Christ child, that this baby was testament to God among us. They simply became immediately aware, without long-winded discussions and evaluations of evidence, that this new life they now encounter is a good thing, that the God who created it is a loving God, that this child, laying in the most uncommon of settings, confirms that God is present in human history, and that we are, as was Jesus of Nazareth, God's beloved. To return to my earlier claim of a critical component of that magical evening, it is this. The Magi were open to the experience. They were drawn to the opportunity to experience something larger than the present moment. That something larger is what we call the transcendent. It's a truth with a capital T. It's a larger reality that is captured in a single mundane moment that reminds us of those aspects of reality that outstrip the temporal. That is, they're true for all time, for all peoples, in every context. And in their discovery, we are reminded that there is more to existence than meets the eye, or the ears, or any of our senses, or even our everyday reasoning powers. And by the way, note the classic images on the screen, drawn from the internet when I searched for Epiphany. It's worth noting that often the reaction to an epiphany is to raise the index finger in a moment of discovery, and so to point upward to the heavens, in keeping with so much of our imagery related to the divine. I contend that we all have such moments when a larger truth is captured in an instant, when we become enlightened to a fundamental truth about life. Such episodes can be almost incidental, but they open us up to a transcendent truth. When a neighbor or a classmate or an acquaintance or even a stranger reaches out in some small way to ease our burden, and in that moment we are reminded of the goodness that binds all of us to our common humanity. When a moment of frustration directs us to a resulting truth about the indomitableness of the human spirit. All of us have been there. Nothing seems to be going right. Traffic is snarled. The lines at the supermarket are slower than those at the DMV. We're stuck in the systems of bureaucracy and commerce that have us all stalled. Our time is being wasted on the most trivial of daily tasks, and we've got too much work to do. Then some stranger who shares this moment of urban angst with us exchanges a gentle and knowing smile, and we realize in an instant that we're all in this together. That shared smile triggers a moment of awareness. Wait a minute, things aren't that bad. I'm here, healthy and well-fed, in a time and place unique in human history in its capacity for responding to human needs. And we realize within the instant how lucky we really are to exist at this time in the world's history. Did you know science's best guess as to how many people have ever lived on Earth in all of human history is somewhere around 117 billion. The total population of humans living now on Earth is 7.8 billion. What that means is that you and I are alive after 94% of all the people who ever lived and have left this life. To put it another way, we're lucky to be in the 6% of humans that inhabit the globe now, in modern times. Add to that the reminder that we, at this time, in this location, benefit as fully as any peoples on Earth from human ingenuity. And well, the point is made. We're newly aware of the blessings of this life. For me, that similar moment actually came fairly recently. And maybe you've been there. I was taking off my sweater one morning, which for me entails, first of all, taking off my glasses, then removing my over-the-ear hearing aids, which requires that I first remove my COVID-discouraging mask. And once the sweater's off, I must rearm myself with all those apparati to continue my day. That regimen, repeated throughout the morning, can cause me to roll my eyes in frustration at all that I must hang from my ears every morning. But just a while back, that banal sequence triggered in me this epiphany. I was made newly aware of the colossal ingenuity of the human species, which has managed to find ways for me to overcome my limited eyesight, to augment my below-average hearing, and to protect me and you from the latest viral scourge to attack our species. When you think about it that way, as I now do, the various equipment strung on my ears each morning is amazing in its simplicity and all that it helps make possible for me and for all who need such equipment. That moment of epiphany, by the way, is also what we in English literature analysis call the poetic, a seemingly mundane, even everyday happening that carries with it a link to a larger transcendent truth. On a grander scale, and like parents everywhere, I am reminded of the epiphany that came with the birth of my sons. Here's Dylan and Aiden as toddlers. I joined my wife in the delivery room for the birth of both my sons. On each occasion, I was made newly aware of the miraculous among us. Thousands are born worldwide each day, but within that moment is a deeper understanding of the blessedness of creation, of the joys that come to us from those we share this life with, and of the goodness of a God that creates anew each person and provides for us this shared life. Here they are, some 25 years later, all grown up, living in Santa Barbara with jobs in tech and lives I admire and envy. I won't claim to have fully anticipated their successes back in the days of their birth, but I did sense anew the goodness of this life at a depth I had not known previously. And that moment of awareness has been confirmed over and over. Finally, and in closing, comes a bit more of literary analysis about the term. It's a Greek term, Epiphany. Our word epiphany comes to us via its root in ancient Greek. The epi part translates as upon, and the phaino part of the original means literally, I shine. So it means, I shine upon. And that's true for all of us embraced by an epiphany, captured by a moment of new awareness. The light of truth shines on us, and within us. We are bathed in the light and enthralled in that awareness. We are thus illuminated. We're made brighter. And with that comes an obligation. To serve as a beacon, a shining light for others. To act so as to remind ourselves and others of the goodness of this life and of the goodness of the divine who creates us and sustains us anew each day, come what may. To extend ourselves in acts of random kindness so as to revive an awareness of the goodness of humanity, and so to serve as the basis of countless moments of epiphany for ourselves and for others. It is a fundament of Catholic faith that God is among us, that we come to know God most fully through our interactions with those with whom we share this God-given life. That visit to the manger by the three kings was their fullest encountering during their earthly lives of the divine, and they grasped its full meaning. They saw God in human form. They saw a truth they had not known, that the divine is forever among us. Let us go forth as they did, living in the wake of a new awareness of the blessedness of this life. Thank you.